What's up guys, BltzZ here today bringing you another video. In today's video we got a big information dump on Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission, the official title of Yuffie's DLC episode that comes out the same time as Intergrade in June. The following news is translated by Audrey, and this is from the latest Famitsu article, so shout out to Audrey again for always killing it and getting these out for us ASAP. Be sure to follow her on Twitter if you guys have not yet. Now with all that being said, let's get into this video. The Famitsu article brought more details and information to light about Yuffie's DLC, including the official name of it being Intermission, sort of following a theater theme which we will get more into later. This reference, some of you guys might like it, some of you guys might absolutely hate it. This information also reveals bios for new characters showcased in the trailers, as well as some others that we didn't get to see much screen time of as well. Starting off with the main Avalanche branch, the information states, they are a powerful group called Avalanche that is against the actions of Shinra and raises awareness of the planet's life force. Barrett's side of Avalanche uses violent ways to oppose Shinra, such as blowing up the Mako reactors. But the main Avalanche branch is different and wants to protect the lives of the citizens and free them of the grips that Shinra has on them. In order to build ties with Wutai's government, they assist them with the plan to steal the ultimate materia from Shinra. Damn, what a way to call out Barrett's team on their methods. Jeez, the ultimate shade right there. Granted, it does look as if they blew up an entire sector from blowing up that reactor, but technically that was Shinra after all, but no one really knows about that. This is very interesting to get official confirmation that this branch of Avalanche is focusing on helping Wutai out and keeping civilians' safety in mind. The ultimate materia, however, I still can't wait to see what that actually is. I doubt it'll be something as crazy as master materia like in the original game, you know, where it gives you every spell command pertaining to that materia's color. That would be absolutely insane to see. But I doubt we'll see that so early into Remake's storyline. Up next is the character profile about Weiss, everyone's favorite sexy hojo from Dirge of Cerberus. Weiss is voiced by Nakata Joji in the Japanese version and Damon Mills in the English dub. Oh, and speaking of the English dub, Yuffie is voiced by Susie Young and Sonon is voiced by Alex Lee. Just a few weeks ago, the internet thought Ashley Botcher was the voice of Yuffie, but it turns out she's actually the voice of Naya, Nerdy Tifa. But we're gonna get into Weiss first. Famitsu starts off with an interesting quote from Weiss. Let us raise the curtains in the beginning of what is called the end. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the profile reads, a ruler donned in all white who controls Shinra's top secret underground research center, Deep Ground. He hones superhuman strength and is very charismatic, sadistic, and cruel. Due to his unparalleled strength, he is restrained to a throne hidden deep beneath Midgar and is only released when he is being experimented on, as he is kept under inhumane conditions and quietly waits for a chance to exact his revenge. Audrey brought up a good point with that quote from Weiss. He is heavily referring to a theater or stage-like comparison talking about raising curtains. This also mirrors what Genesis said in Dirge of Cerberus as well as he was taking away Weiss's body. Genesis turns to look at the camera and says that only 27.6% of people that watch and love these videos are currently subscribed. Guys, hit that subscribe button right now or he will read to you from front and back Lovelace's entire story, doing all the character voices himself in epic fashion. But seriously, hit that subscribe button and join the channel. The recent Final Fantasy VII Remake anniversary stream was a crazy huge hit and you guys won't want to miss out on what we have in store for when Yuffie's DLC Intermission drops in June. All that coverage will be gearing you guys up and ready for the ultimate guides ASAP, I promise. Yuffie's gameplay looks amazing and she most definitely will have a lot of depth behind her. So subscribe and stay tuned so you don't miss out, guys. Now back to the video. Genesis says, together, let's raise the curtains on the final act as he picks up Weiss's body and flies away with it. So who knows what these dudes could be getting into later on in the story. Because remember, Dirge of Cerberus takes place many years after the fact of this original game's story and also takes place, I believe, 2 or 1 year after Advent Children. And I mean, they're talking about curtains, final act, they're talking about like in a theatrical sense of things. So Intermission being called this DLC's like, you know, official title for Yuffie is pretty interesting. So I'm definitely going to be taking a deeper look into that once this finally releases. Weiss is very strong, but restrained to a chair and only released when needed to be experimented on. It's going to be interesting to get a chance to see how he fights or battles in VR missions that they stated that he's currently in. So I'm looking forward to all of that and also clapping this dude's cheeks multiple times and bringing you guys a guide on how to do that as well. Up next, we have a familiar face from the trailer. His name is ZG, and he is voiced by Akira Igarashi in the Japanese version. And in the English version, he is voiced by Griffin Puatu. ZG is from Wutai, and he lives in Midgar. He acts as the liaison between Wutai government and main Avalanche branch. With his street smarts and fast moves, he's been able to survive by sliding in and out of trouble. He shows Yuffie around Sector 7 slums as well. ZG actually being from Wutai and serving as the connection for Avalanche to Wutai is pretty interesting. We witness him being chased by Shinra guards in the trailer, but it sounds as if he's able to defend himself just fine, which I'm sure we will witness in the story when we finally get to play it and hear his side of things. I'm thinking maybe he dyed his hair blonde as well so he could blend in better and hide his identity, because to me it looks a little off compared to the rest of his look. Also, his hair is darker at the roots, meaning it's possible that it's grown since he last dyed it. ZG will be showing Yuffie and Sonon around Sector 7 it seems, and I can't wait to see how much depth or influence these newer characters will have on the story going forward, outside of the DLC of course. Assuming they don't die during Platefall, we could see them reappear in Remake once the party with Yuffie make it to Wutai. I'd love to see all that. Up next, we have the new character Naya, who the community has been calling Nerdy Tifa, or Tifa with glasses and short hair. Voiced by Fujita Akane in the Japanese version and voiced by Ashley Botcher in the English version. Naya is a member of the main Avalanche branch, and she was born in the slums. Hidden within the Sector 7 slums, she oversees the actions of the branch. She receives the request from the Wutai government for assistance and helps them devise a strategy. She also prepares a fake ID that Yuffie and the others need to access the upper plate. This character seems to have a bit of a similar job as Jessie, because Jessie was in charge of getting new IDs ready for Barrett's team. It seems Naya does the same thing, and she essentially is in constant communication with Wutai, relaying information to them about Midgar and Shinra's plans. She also seems to watch over what Barrett's Avalanche is doing as well, and keeping tabs on them to their main branch of Avalanche. Her being born in the slums, basically living there her whole life, is very interesting. I've always loved the whole political aspect about Final Fantasy VII, but it seems in Remake we're going to be going even deeper than that. In regards to the relationship between Wutai and Shinra, and essentially a cold war that's going on right now between them. The two factions are just stealing intel from each other and constantly trying to outdo one another. Naya sounds cool, and I can't wait to see her interact with other members in the slums. And up next, we got Snow from Final Fantasy XIII. I mean, Axel from Guilty Gear. No, just Billy Bob from the slums. Honestly, I was not expecting a name like this. This is totally epic. He is voiced by Kenichi Hoshino in Japanese, and in English he is voiced by David Goldstein. Billy Bob's character bio reads, a member of the main Avalanche branch. He was born in the slums. Although he is extremely experienced compared to the other members who are hidden away at the Sector 7 slums, he doesn't put his experience to work and instead has a very laid-back personality. He is very good with alcohol and can drink as much as he wants without getting drunk, and apparently collects his intel from people at bars. Okay, it's starting to look like all of these members have been born in the slums and are very well versed about the city of Midgar. Billy Bob most likely spends most of his time at 7th Heaven, I would imagine, and not just for the drinks, I would say. Being able to drink tons of alcohol without getting drunk, I mean, the dude sounds kind of like me. I wonder if we'll get to see him in action during the DLC, and I hope a final trailer does not come out and spoil everything, because we did not really get a good look at this guy and the next character we're about to talk about. They should just keep all the footage they have right now in promo pieces and not show any more. I'd rather them just use the same exact trailer footage and not showcase anything new. This next character, Polk, has some huge news drops and a revelation in his bio. He is voiced by Nobuyori Sagata in Japanese, and in English it's Daniel Amerman. Polk's character bio says he's a member of the main Avalanche branch. He was also born in the slums, and he is the youngest member of the Sector 7 Avalanche branch in hiding. Everyone treats him like a younger brother, and even though they make fun of him, he's adored by them. In regards to devising strategies, he's super into the popular strategy game called Fort Condor. His quote up top also mentions him saying, "You're bored? How about playing some Fort Condor?" Polk sounds to be pretty young, so it seems the group will troll him from time to time, but the biggest thing about this is that they reference Fort Condor twice, and in a very interesting way I don't think that any of us expected. In the original Final Fantasy VII, Fort Condor was a location you can visit after obtaining Yuffie. There's a small faction there battling against Shinra, and we can participate in a minigame, placing friendly targets down to battle Shinra forces while they are trying to make their way up the fort. In this dialogue, they mention that Polk is obsessed with the Fort Condor strategy game. He even has a quote saying if they are bored, you want to play some Fort Condor. This may lead to him being a strategist within the game and provides insight to battle plans. But Fort Condor being a popular strategy game within the world of Final Fantasy VII Remake is super interesting. I wonder what the battle style is going to be like. Will they do it like the original game did? Or will they revamp it and make the gameplay mimic the original Final Fantasy VII's battle system of turn-based combat with ATB? I think that would be an awesome Easter egg. I do hope that in Remake Part 2 we can access and have a lot of replayability with the Fort Condor minigame. What if this co-op has a multiplayer aspect to it though? As a kid I hated Fort Condor, but as an adult I'd love to take a crack at a remade version of it especially. Outside of this Famitsu information, Audrey also mentioned there is a bit of dialogue in the article itself that's very vague in its direction. But it goes, guided by the calls of the planet, the gears of a new destiny begin to turn. As you fix your gaze upon the world, your cries could not reach your friends. The new destiny is obviously talking about the ending of Remake Part 1, where Aerith and the party change their fates essentially and defeat the Fate Gods, and we are expecting to see some changes of course, in various small ways or very large ways. So Aerith could be the very reference of the calls to the planet changing destiny line, but your cries could not reach your friends is a bit confusing on what it could mean to me. She also did a second translation stating it as the world that they see through narrow eyes, their cries did not reach their friends. Audrey has no idea, I am lost as well, but what do you guys think about this in the comments below? Let me know and let's get a discussion going on what this possibly could mean. And that wraps it up for this video, guys. Today's big news drop for Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, intermission, was pretty badass. The Fort Condor news they added into Polk's character bio was super big for me, and I'm surprised they just dropped it so passively in writing like that. More things to look out for in this world of remakes. So many callbacks and things we know from the original game will either return or be represented in unique different ways. This is just one of the many that I cannot wait to see. I know everyone, including myself, would love to have the entirety of Remake out and ready to play from beginning to end, but with the amount of detail and depth that they're trying to take this universe, it seems that will be unlikely with just 1 or 2 releases. Looking forward to this amazing future of non-stop Final Fantasy VII coverage and bringing you guys all that heat. Final Fantasy Tactics streams have just begun, so if you guys missed out on that one, be sure to check out the video posted of it from yesterday. I'm excited to get back to regularly streaming with you guys, but these last 2 weeks of April are going to be super busy for me. I have a lot of family events to attend, and I will be doing my best to keep up with all the latest content for you all. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe if you are new. More Final Fantasy VII Remake videos are coming your way and you won't want to miss them. My name is BltzZ and thanks for watching.